Welcome to the Church in the Wild podcast. You'll be hearing the words from worship from Sunday, January 18th, 2026, where guest speaker Brad Davis shares the Holler Gospel, a message calling for justice for Appalachia. If you want to find out more about Church in the Wild and all of our upcoming events and programs, just go to churchinthewild.org. Thanks for listening. Our untitled poem today is by the late Larry Gibson of Boone County, West Virginia, known as the Keeper of the Mountains. And it serves as the foreword of the novel Mud Creek Medicine. We have a conversation with the land here. The land talks to us. It will tell us things, like nothing comes easy to people in the mountains. We are a little worn, we are a little bent, we are a little broken, but we are real and we are here. This is life for us. We ain't got a choice here in the coal fields. We are fighting back because it's the only thing we have. And now for our nature connection today, I wanted to share a video that features Brad and the work he's doing, and that gives us some background and history on this topic that he'll be telling us more about. So check it out, Southern West Virginia's water crisis. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. We're just gonna watch the first few minutes.
We're currently facing one of the worst water contamination crises in central Appalachia, largely because of the impact of fossil fuel industry.
The health crisis, we've got a water crisis, we've got a poverty crisis.
We buy bottled gallons of water to do our cooking and to make coffee. We do not even give our animals our well water.
This came out of Diane's bathroom sink today. First thing this morning. That came out of her kitchen faucet. And that's as clear as her water ever looks.
Southern West Virginia has been plagued by a water crisis for decades.
People of communities like Bradshaw and Oceana turn on their kitchen sinks and their bathtubs and their washing machines and only have them to fill up with brown, rancid smelling water. This is not a coffee maker, this is a washing machine.
Imagine, if you can, cleaning up from all this flood mud and catastrophic flooding, and you can't shower in the day without it burning your skin.
I went to McDowell County, West Virginia, to speak with some of the people working to find solutions.
My daddy was a miner, and I'm a miner's son. We'll be with you, fellow workers, till every battle's won. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I think it was in like 2019, there was several strip mines across the road from where we live, and our water started getting rust colored.
In Gary, West Virginia, you've got 468 impacted homes. Anawalt is 130 impacted homes, and Lackey's got 60 impacted homes. Each of them are struggling with water outages, water treatment issues. My understanding is the source for those systems is an abandoned mine.
We know that coal mining can affect water chemistry by moving dissolved materials downstream. Those can be heavy metals, those can be selenium, sulfates, and other materials. We know that surface mining can change the timing and the magnitude of flows, which has implications for drought and flood risk downstream.
The southern end of the county is still lagging behind the Welch area as far as recovery from the February flooding. I mean, there are a lot of people that are still struggling over this way.
We have effects from mining. We have water infrastructure issues. We have flooding risks and impacts that are present across the region. And so, this is a very difficult and complex, tangled web of issues.
I'm going to stop it there for now. But like I said, I'll share the link for the full video so you can keep watching. It's very informative. Our wisdom today comes from the Hebrew scriptures, Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. Moses was taking care of the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, Midian's priest. He led his flock out to the edge of the desert, and he came to God's mountain called Horeb. The Lord's messenger appeared to him in a flame of fire in the middle of a bush. Moses saw that the bush was in flames, but it didn't burn up. Then Moses said to himself, "Let me check out this amazing sight and find out why the bush isn't burning up." When the Lord saw that he was coming to look, God called to him out of the bush, "Moses, Moses." Moses said, "I'm here." Then the Lord said, "Don't come any closer. Take off your sandals, because you are standing on holy ground." He continued, "I am the God of your father, Abraham's God, Isaac's God, and Jacob's God." Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, "I've clearly seen my people oppressed in Egypt. I've heard their cry of injustice because of their slave masters. I know about their pain. I've come down to rescue them from the Egyptians in order to take them out of that land and bring them to a good and broad land, a land that's full of milk and honey, a place where the Canaanites, the Hittites and Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites and Jebusites all live. Now the Israelites' cries of injustice have reached me. I've seen just how much the Egyptians have oppressed them. So get going. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." And now I get to introduce our guest speaker today, Brad Davis. Brad is a United Methodist elder serving churches in McDowell County, West Virginia, which consistently is at or near the top of the nation's most impoverished. He also serves as co-director of From Below, Rising Together for Coalfield Justice, a faith-based movement for change in West Virginia's coal fields, and a founding partner of the West Virginia Faith Collective, which he co-chairs. As a native of Central Appalachian coal country, Brad has a passion for the revitalization of its land and people. His ministry focuses on the issues related to coalfield justice, community renewal, and the church's role in co-laboring with God to make both a reality. Welcome, Brad. I'm going to spotlight you and let you take it away.
Thank you, Corey. Good afternoon to all of you. It is so very good to be with you today. And I thank you so much to Corey and to the rest of you for the invitation to worship with you. And thank you for being here this afternoon. I bring you greetings from the hills and hollers of the Free State of McDowell County, West Virginia, which is the heart of America's very own internal extraction colony, known, AKA, otherwise known as Central Appalachia. Now, I fully realize that some of you may not have heard anything else that I just said after hearing me say holler. You're probably like, what in the heck is he talking about? What is a holler? So let me take a moment to explain what a holler is and why it's significant to what I'm sharing with you today. In our vernacular of Central Appalachia, holler is how we pronounce the word hollow, which in this context is a hollowed out, low-lying depression between two hills that forms an extremely narrow valley. And it is the lowest lying area between those two hills. And many of us call these hollers home. Many of us live in the hollers, which, when I think of it, is a pretty appropriate metaphor, considering that our people, the people of Central Appalachia, have been hollowed out and laid low for generations by outside exploitative forces that have extracted our resources, along with our dignity as well, along with our humanity, and in many respects have left us sunken, depressed, living lives without significance in a valley very much of despair. Pardon me, please, for borrowing from the popular evangelical book and film series, but we are a people and a region that have been very much left behind. Several years ago, as the people of the four adjacent Mingo County, West Virginia coal camps desperately fought for safe water after their wells had been contaminated by mine waste, they placed a sign by the side of the main road passing them that said this: "Welcome to the forgotten communities." Indeed, we in coal country are a left behind people, abandoned and forgotten, left to wither away with crumbling infrastructure, as you saw on the video, contaminated water, polluted air, and impoverishment on a level not seen anywhere else in America. We are trapped, as my good friend and colleague, Reverend Jeff Allen, calls it, in a landscape of grief, counted among the crucified peoples of history, as Ignacio Ellacuría referred to it, nailed to a cross of economic exploitation. This has been going on for 150 years. But in the last couple of years, things have begun to bubble up, as they always do, from below, where God always begins movements for change. So now we are crying out to be heard, hoping to be seen, longing to be saved from our suffering, not that much unlike the enslaved Hebrews in Egypt that we read about moments ago in Exodus. They too are, like us, a crucified people, left behind and forgotten by everybody. Everybody except God. The misery of those trapped in the low places always attracts God's attention. God knows the suffering, hears the cries, sees the oppression, and God always comes down to lift up from below. The last indeed shall be first. And this is what we call, folks, the Holler Gospel. God lifting up the lowly to bring justice to the people, the common folk. who have been pressed down and kept down for generations. And beyond that, that is the gospel. That is at the heart of the good news of God's kingdom. And guess what? God always raises up and empowers folks to partner with God in this liberating work. God always calls folks like Moses in our story today, or like Reverend Dr. King, whom we celebrate tomorrow, like the people of our communities being empowered by the Holler Gospel to collaborate with God in God's ongoing salvation project. Now, none of the communities where I serve here in McDowell County have signs by the roadside that say, "Welcome to the forgotten communities." But if you ask anybody that lives there, they'll tell you that we have been very much forgotten. One of them consists of 61 households, all of which are connected to unusable, contaminated wells. My lay leader there spends upwards of $150 a month on bottled water that she has to make an hour's round trip to purchase. Another one is connected to an outdated, failing public water system that has asbestos-lined pipes, where boil water advisories and service disruptions have become near weekly events. And yet another one of my communities has a municipal water system that has been rendered unusable because it is crumbling and the city simply has not the resources, the ability to maintain it, to repair it, to upkeep it. And I don't want you to misunderstand, this is not confined to the communities where I am. On the other side of the county, there are folks who haven't taken a hot shower in 6 years. Now think about that. They haven't taken a hot shower in 6 years because the water makes them sick and burns their skin. There's a town called Keystone here in the county that was under a boil water advisory for 10 consecutive years. Now, I want you to just sit with that for a moment and think about that. From 2012 to 2022, every single minute of every single day, they were under a boil water advisory. And our neighbors to the north in Wyoming County have had thousands, if not millions, of gallons of mine waste flow into their drinking water source. People are getting sick. People and animals are dying. And people are crying out, hoping to be seen, longing to be saved. As one of my church members says in a letter to her U.S. representative, quote, "Our community has been called Widow's Holler, but I call it home. We are carrying water for drinking and cooking. We are on fixed incomes. We are forgotten, left behind, abandoned, forgotten by everyone, except God." In the same way God hears the cries and sees the oppression of the enslaved Hebrews and comes down to save them, so too does God hear us
in Central Appalachia. So too does God see us. So too does God come to us to lift us up from below. And in the same way, God invites Moses to turn aside and look upon a bush ablaze with fire, but yet is not consumed. Well, today, folks, God invites you to turn aside and look upon a region on fire, coal country. Yet we are not consumed by our suffering. Laid waste, yes, but yet persisting and resisting. And in the same way, God is found by Moses in that burning bush, so too can God be found in our communities. And God is calling out to you today, calling out to me, calling out to us, and urging us not to look away. God extends the invitation to us, like Moses, to collaborate, to co-labor with God, to bring our people out of enslavement to the sins that have been and are being perpetrated against us. In his book, Jesus and the Disinherited, the late, great Howard Thurman, one of my favorite theologians, asks this question. He says, what does the religion of Jesus have to say to those who exist with their backs against the wall? Well, friends, our backs are against the wall where I'm from. What does your faith have to say to us? Turn aside and look. See us. Hear us. Central Appalachian communities desperate for safe water, clean air, and a chance to live the abundant, flourishing life that God intends for all of God's children. Crying out to be heard, hoping to be seen, longing to be saved. So maybe, just maybe, if we turn aside and look and pay attention, all of us can join with God in God's work here in this place. Collaborate with God and with one another to help build a better world. A new world where no one and no community is left behind. Where no one, no community is forgotten. The world that God intends. In the name of the Creator, Redeemer, Sustainer God. Amen and amen. God bless you.
So I'm going to invite us into a time of prayer and meditation and invite you to find a comfortable position where you can bring some ease to your body. We've heard a lot of hard truths, important things that we need to know, and they can make us feel tense. So I invite you to bring some awareness and ease to any tense places. It can help to close your eyes, focus on the trees on the screen, or find a gentle gaze. And I'm going to share the gift of some words that I have received this month. From poet Rosemary Wattle Traumer, A Ritual for Watching the News. I press both hands to my chest, then look at the trees and the road outside. I imagine the world beyond what I see. Cities, continents, space. Then I close my eyes to open. I listen to what is here, attune to the silence that holds up all sound. Feel my heart beat against my palm. Hello, heart, I say. Hello, heart. If I am to read the news, I want to invite not only my head, but my body. Want to receive it as if I am river and sky as much as I am human. The ache of the news is no less great, perhaps greater, but I know I am not alone. In the barren branches of my fear, the chickadees come to sing. And now the gift of words of a prayer from Melina Rudman. In the name of peace, I pray. I pray love into the world. I pray peace into the world. I pray restorative justice into this world. I pray healing into this world. I pray sanity into this world. I pray these things for myself and for us all. Whatever evil the powers that be perpetrate and manifest, I pray myself and all people who seek mystery, and all those who ground themselves in what is good, with or without belief in what is beyond humanity. I pray we all be centered, be grounded, be open to love, be nonviolent in thought, word, and deed. I pray our words be truthful, our discernment honed, our actions healing. I pray we stand in grace and refuse to participate in or condone in any way policies, actions, organizations, governments, nations, or empires that perpetrate violence, sell fear and victimhood, and oppress or mistreat anyone. United in prayer with all who seek peace. Have courage. Stand in love. Stand together with and for this world. May we make it so. Amen. Thanks for listening. If you want to support Church in the Wild and the work we do in striving for environmental and social justice, just head on over to our website, churchinthewild.org, and click the donate link at the top. There you can make a donation, set yourself up as a recurring supporter, or you can buy something from our Redbubble shop. We're so glad you're with us on this journey, following the Spirit through creation, adventure, and restoration. Until next time.